Hey everybody, thanks for coming to the channel today. So, a few updates. I know you've seen the last video was just us kind of calling the internet out. I don't know, maybe it was a joke, maybe we were serious, but we've only really had one guy that's shown any interest in wanting to race this four-wheeler, so either everybody else is scared of it or they're not taking us serious. But you know, if you want to set up a race with this Trailblazer that we got here, feel free to drop a comment or send us a message or whatever the case may be. We're just going to kind of jump right into today's video. We did some fabrication stuff off camera that we probably should have recorded, but you know, it kind of is what it is. So we're going to kind of go through a rundown of the quad, where it's at right now, with the new stuff that we've done, and then we've got a couple other projects that we kind of showed you before that are now gone, and we're going to do something different as far as the project goes. So either way, we're going to jump right into it. Enjoy the video. So everybody, we're back in the garage again today. The four-wheeler looks about the same as it did in the last couple videos that we put up. So there's a few things that Jake did off camera that he's going to kind of go through and just kind of explain. You know, new parts that have been added, some parts breaking that had to be fixed. So I'm just going to kind of give it to him and let him do what Jake does and explain to dumb people like myself why he does what he does.
Let's see. So I took it out and was riding it just to, you know, another shakedown. I got it out and got it into some tacky dirt, and it actually grabbed traction, which it hadn't in any of the previous videos. It was insanely fast, and it sheared all the teeth off the front sprocket. So front sprocket is that was what was left of it. It's not supposed to do that.
Yeah. More than one tooth is optimal, I assume.
Yeah. So initial thought when that happened was either that I'd blown the tranny up or busted a chain. I mean, there's a million things that I thought about, but it just happened to be the sprocket, which I was glad for because it was an easy fix. Went down to a local power sports shop and got another sprocket for it.
That was what, flat out?
Flat out motorsports.
Yeah, flat out in Martinsville.
Yeah. So went down there and got another sprocket for it. They happen to have one on hand, which is awesome.
Well, if this thing keeps grabbing traction, they may want to keep a couple of them on hand.
Yeah.
Because that's you know, that's pretty convenient. Martinsville's what, a 25-minute drive from here or so.
25 minutes, something like that.
And those guys, I'm assuming, seem pretty impressed with. I'm sure you ripped on it a little bit.
Yeah. We showed. They was definitely interested in what was going on here. So none of them could believe that we'd shoved this into that, but you know, it is.
Yeah, it happened.
The belt guard, we went ahead and put a couple of extra pieces on the belt guard so that it's solid now and no more leg biting problems.
Yeah.
Remounted the gauges and all that, you know, fun stuff. So
yeah, since I decided that I wanted to knock them off of there with my face. Another thing, just some honorable mention. You've seen it in the videos, but the radiator, Honda Civic, correct?
Yep.
Like mid-90s Honda Civic radiator, and just plumbed it in. The factory one, which we touched on, I think, in another video. It just wasn't enough cooling, and it was wanting to get hot. That's why it was shutting off on us that night, because it was overheating. Absolutely. Which is good. At least we know if it gets hot,
it protects itself.
Yeah, it shuts itself down, so don't have to worry about, you know, it never did boil over, really. It was weird. I don't know.
I guess it just got to that point where it was going to do that and stopped itself from doing it.
Yeah.
Painted the wheels, done some paint work, just kind of touch up odds and ends stuff. So just trying to work on the appearance a little bit of it.
Got to look good.
Yeah.
Got to look good.
And so the other new piece that has been recently added is a wheelie bar, because once it did grab traction, it did not want to stay down, period. That kind of dirt, it was just a major problem. It wanted to stay on the back tires more than it should, and I couldn't even give it full throttle without it just coming up. So that's the new addition. We've also got paddle tires. That way, whenever it does have a wheelie bar, I can give it all the hate and
all the hate.
All the hate.
Yeah, that does look good coming off the back of it.
Did something a little different with the wheelie bar that you probably won't see on most other quads. It has a cantilever style action to it, so whenever the body comes back and your weight transfers, it also pushes down on the wheelie bar to keep the front end down. So most traction bars, they're bolted to the swing arm, and it's just kind of there. This one actually has an action to it, which is pretty fun.
I guess drop it off that jack stand and show them how it works.
It should work on the jack stand.
Oh yeah, it should work on the jack stand. So, yeah.
As your weight is loading in the back, it also pushes down on the wheelie bar. So the harder it wants to raise the front tires up, the harder it's going to push it back down. Yeah,
and this is all what Rule King or all Rule King parts.
Yeah, Rule King parts. Hardware, tubing. Harbor Freight for the wheel.
Yep. And then what did you call the adjuster?
Oh, that's a 3-point. That's adjustment for a 3-point hitch on a tractor.
Okay, I knew it was 3 something, but
yeah. Basically, what it's doing right here, it's just on the tractor, and there's a drawbar that goes in between. That just kind of holds it in place at the height you want it.
Yeah. So you can kind of see, got a couple brackets welded back in there where the 2 bars on the bottom connect, and then up here got a couple, what is that, 3/16?
Yeah.
Yes, 3/16 steel welded to the factory grab bar, and then of course it goes into that 3-point adjuster and back into there. The other little safety feature we added, which I don't think we talked about, was just cutting a piece of 3-inch exhaust pretty much down the middle and making a little heat guard, which actually worked. That was Jake's idea. I just executed it, and that worked. I mean, that works great. I can't
keep my leg against it all the time. I mean, I can feel a little bit of warmth, but it isn't anywhere close to burning you.
Yeah, but the last time we rode it, I noticed that after, it was a couple days after, that I had a melted spot on the top of my boot where they were like nylon, and it was from having my leg up against that. And I mean, hell, I wasn't on it very long. I mean, you guys saw the video. It was 45 seconds max, so it doesn't do that anymore. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
I'm working on re-gearing it too, so that it's got a little more top end and hopefully calm it down on the low end a little bit, or help it get traction. So
yeah,
with that really low gear ratio it's got, it just blows the tires off. Or when it does get traction, it just stands straight up. So
yeah,
it's one or the other. There's no in between with it.
Yeah.
And hopefully this will remedy that a little bit. But I've got another sprocket that I've been toying with the idea. So I'll end up taking the broken one, and since it's got the right spline and everything in the center, I'll just end up machining it so that it fits inside of this other sprocket, which is a 15 tooth from an 11. So that ought to solve a little bit of the issue.
All right, well, I guess we get this thing down off the jack stand. I think
test out the wheelie bar.
Yeah, I think Jake's gonna test the wheelie bar out. Then once we do that, we're gonna come back up and show you a couple other things that that we've acquired over the last I don't know, week or so. So yeah, and I'm curious to see how it works. I think it's gonna work pretty damn good.
I'm hoping it works right.
Yeah.
If not, we'll regroup and figure out. Just go back with the original, same thing that everybody else does, but I don't like what everybody else does.
Yeah. So let's we're gonna get down off this jack stand and get it outside and get after it. I think everybody can agree that we all like cold start videos. So I'm gonna sneak back here, let you fire this bad boy up. Okay, so Jake, he came out and wanted to do just kind of a shakedown, kind of down the road and back, see what happened. And I'll let Jake kind of explain what we got going on here and why we're putting a ratchet strap on this wheelie bar.
So, for some odd reason, this puller does the exact opposite thing you would think it would do. It, I guess, has enough horsepower that it pulls the suspension away from the rear end. So, it actually forces the rear end up whenever you hit the gas. No matter if it's lifting the front tires off the ground or not, it's still pushing the back of this away from the axle. You know, even with me being all the way at the back of the seat and hitting the gas, it stands up and then it pulls the front tires. And then in turn, whenever it goes up, this was swinging away from the ground, and it just let me continue to do a wheelie.
Yeah, it was a pretty... I should have had the camera going, but I didn't think about it. So,
well,
yeah, you know. So the idea here was, is to, you know, put this ratchet strap on there and use it kind of like a limiting strap. And this is just, you know, kind of a proof of concept. I don't know, I guess if it works.
I'll use seat belts.
Yeah, oh yeah, seatbelt will work great.
Seat belts, double stitch them, and then put a couple of triangle rings and bolts, and it'll be fine.
So we're gonna see what this does, and then we're gonna bring you back in. But didn't want to leave you hanging and wondering what that was if it does work, and Jake rips this thing down the road like proper. So we'll see what happens.
Like this.
Oh yeah, burnouts. Everybody likes burnouts. Well, it definitely does a burnout.
Still spinning in a wheelie.
It's still spinning them in a wheelie. Hey, that was a pretty good burnout.
That was a pretty good.
Like, started down there, and I mean, it was walking so beautiful all the way down the road. Okay, so the ratchet strap seemed to work.
Yeah.
As high as the wheels were coming up, I think we almost put a couple more clicks on it, and it probably wouldn't hurt anything.
Well, we can actually use the adjuster.
Oh yeah, there is an adjuster on there. Yeah. We'll have to grab a crescent wrench. I actually did tighten it down. Right, so we took this adjuster out, I would say about 1 inch on each side. That will keep the front tires hopefully closer to the ground, kind of hovering. That way, you know, if you need to be able to turn pretty quick, you just roll off the throttle a little bit, and hopefully it'll bring them down. I mean, I'm sure as soon as you pin it open again, it's going to bring them right back up, but at least it gives you an option. What we're kind of sitting here talking about is just how ridiculous this thing is, and it just keeps getting more ridiculous. I think we get this wheelie bar dialed in, it's going to be a game changer. And then with those paddle tires on it and some dirt, I mean, that's going to be real. That's going to be really crazy. I don't even know if I ever want to ride this thing again, to be honest with you. Like, it's pretty cool watching Jake ride it. I know what it'll do. Obviously, I got a scar to prove it. But I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever ride it again. If I do, it definitely won't be like the first time I rode it. I'm not going to just pin it wide open out of the gate. We're just sitting here kind of just talking about the ridiculous, as you were saying.
The acceleration is what's crazy. I mean, the top speed, sure, you know, anything can go fast if you give it enough time, but this thing gets from 0 to as fast as it goes in just a second or two. It's just nuts. I mean, I've been on fast bikes, but the acceleration is what's crazy on this. And I'm gonna try and get a G-force meter on my phone or something and see how close I can make it, you know, or if it'll record it or what. But
yeah, I mean, I mean, I've ridden a couple of pretty quick street bikes, and yeah, I mean, they'll go fast. They'll definitely are faster than this, but it's just as soon as you hit the throttle, it's just instant. There's no
hesitation to it. It's just instant speed. I mean, as fast as it'll go, it's just there.
Yeah, and the only thing that's limiting it is traction.
Yeah.
And the lack of traction. I mean, you just can't get any traction with it. So
No, I'm real curious about those paddle tires and some dirt. I mean, it's gonna be wild.
yeah. Yeah, Brad won't let us launch it in his yard on the paddle tires. I can't say that I necessarily blame him.
He'd have 2 1-foot deep ruts down the middle of his freaking yard.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you kind of look back there, there's a barn, and if you got right in front of that barn, it wouldn't even shoot any of the dirt in the neighbor's yard.
No,
so
it just hit the face of the barn, and we'd have to scrape it off with a shovel later.
Yeah,
but,
he could just tell his roommate that he plans on putting a garden over there, and he went ahead and tilled it.
I tilled it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a free service that we offer, so, you know.
Horsepower tilling.
Yeah, horsepower tilling. If you need us, drop a comment down there, and we'll come out and see you. Grant, we can only do 2 rows at a time, but we'll eventually get it done. So, earlier, kind of touched on some new projects that we picked up in the last week, did some trading and such here and there. You can actually hear one of Brad's. You'll see it in just a second. Yep, right there. So Brad got rid of the little Bayou that we were going to put that Yamaha and opted to do a go-kart build instead. This go-kart, we just traded the guy straight up the Bayou for the go-kart. It has a 200cc go-kart motor in it, and the guy kind of cobbled together and a swing arm, put the whole rear end of the go-kart everywhere in the video, like you just see Brad driving by. But yeah, so that is the golf cart. Brad and Izzy, the shop dog. So yeah, you can kind of see. Little car muffler action. But yeah, it's definitely will end up under the knife. We don't know if we're going to put that V-twin in or not, or we may just ride it because it's, I mean, honestly, it's kind of fun to just tool around on. The second little four-wheeler we got here, I think they paid $100 for it, is this little guy here. It's a little Chinese, I think it says liquid gunner. It is a little liquid cooled 200cc. We did have it running, had to put a coil on it, and the coil that we robbed off of another engine that we have, it went bad as well, so now we have no coil. But anyways, those will be definitely in some future episodes, I'm sure, kind of see where those projects go. Like I said, the golf cart and the little Chinese four-wheeler, we may not do anything with, just ride them around, have fun with them, or use them to trade for something different. Not real sure, but either way, definitely got some things coming in the works. I think we're going to go back to that property where we shot the original riding video that was on dirt. The one where I popped a wheelie and destroyed the whole back of my leg. Try and dial this wheelie bar in. We put the ratchet strap on it, and you see in a couple little rips that Jake made with the ratchet strap on there, and that seems to be working. But we want to try and get it to where the front tires are not coming quite as high off the ground. So that will probably be in a video for a later day. Like I said, we're going to try and get there tomorrow, but you never know. It's Indiana, and with the weather that we've had here, we may get a foot of snow tomorrow. It could be 70 degrees. You just never know. So I think that's where we're going to go ahead and end this video. So if you do enjoy the content, please do like and subscribe to the channel. Leave us comments. Get a hold of us on social media through Facebook or Instagram. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for future updates.